Okay, YouTubers, this is the Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching the Angry Truth channel. So today's video, we're going to talk about NYC teachers who haven't received the arm ticket are being, I would say, targeted by the FBI and the Department of Justice. That might be a little heavy-handed. More like their information was sent to the FBI and the Department of Justice by NYC. So New York City sent over their information and their fingerprints as well, because they didn't receive the arm ticket and because they refused to receive the arm ticket, and because they were also fired because they didn't want to take the arm ticket. This whole debacle is going down. Now, this seems like it went down a while back. This wasn't anything new. It was brought to the court's attention back in February 8th when a lawyer who was disputing these teachers being fired and how they should be brought back to their jobs and rehired again had disclosed this information in the courtroom. So this is probably a surprise to a lot of people who were in the courtroom, with the exception of the teachers who are involved in this lawsuit. So, guys, here is the giant problem with this. A lot of us saw this coming when you started bucking the system, when you started telling the system to go fuck himself, when you started saying that, no, we're not doing what you're telling us to do, we're going to do what we want to do. And in that instance, a lot of us either were fired or had to retire, or forced to retire, rather, sorry, or just simply quit. So with all of that, guys, because we are free thinkers, if you will, and we don't believe everything we are told, New York City teachers, at the very least, are being labeled, or possibly being labeled, extremist and or terrorist. So being that they're being labeled both of these groups of people, if you will, this presents a problem for them. And to boot, in New York City itself, they have something called a problem code. Now, I'm pretty sure a teacher could break down what a problem code is, but it also sounds like what it is. You get this thing in your file back in New York City. So in your employee file, you have this problem code, and whatever the problem code reads, it's letting other schools know that you were a problem, probably, i.e. not taking the shot. Now, again, guys, the FBI and the Department of Justice is receiving this information. They're receiving your fingerprints so that you could be labeled an extremist, so that you could be labeled a right-wing extremist at that. Meanwhile, keep in mind, a lot of NYC teachers are liberal as they come, but now they have joined the ranks of right-wing extremists because they refused to take something that they didn't want. That doesn't work. We all know this. Now, here is not a problem, but an interesting situation. How many of these agencies in New York City are now doing the same thing, or have done the same thing, have handed over information to the FBI and the Department of Justice because we didn't want to take the arm ticket? Now, I can all but bet that if the schools did this, the teachers union and the teachers, the Board of Ed, did this here in New York City, I could all but bet other agencies throughout the country did the same thing. Now, is there any proof that the FDNY or the NYPD did this as well? No. And if it has, I'm pretty sure the unions would have made bones about this, and this would have been in the news. But surprisingly, I haven't heard anything about the FDNY or the NYPD. But we all know that the teachers, the Board of Ed did this to teachers. Now, there was a doctor named Peter Horitz, who had numerous times, on numerous occasions, stated that those who do not want to take any kind of arm ticket or vaccination is a threat to society, and that the Justice Department, the FBI, and even NATO should step in and or classify us as threats. So now, being that this doctor said this a few years back, here we are in 2023 seeing this actually play out. Now, again, guys, information was just handed out. Fingerprints were also handed out to the FBI and the Department of Justice. Nothing has been done. So no one has actually gotten in trouble or thrown in jail behind this. but this is just the first step. Again, guys, everything is baby steps. Nothing is, 0 to 60, though having us or giving us ultimatums on whether or not we should take the arm ticket or we will lose our jobs, that was 0 to 60. But as far as putting people away or putting them in jail because they don't want to listen to the rules, they don't want to succumb to the rules, they don't want to become a drone or a sheep, no one's being thrown in jail just yet. But this is definitely something that can unfold in that fashion. Not saying that it is and not saying it will, but I could definitely see this unfolding to such a realm where we start getting tossed in jail because we don't want to listen to the system. Now, a lot of us guys in the future, whether it's the near future or the far future, a lot of us who hang on to who we are, who are free thinkers, who don't bend at the will of these idiots, we're probably going to end up in jail and or fighting the system the hard way. And guys, when I mean fighting the system, I'm talking about fighting the system. All right. So not like, protest signs and shit like that. We're talking about bats, chains, guns, and all kinds of shit. That's what I'm talking about, fighting the system. If we get to that point, hopefully we will never get to that point, at least hopefully not in my lifetime. And if it does happen, I hope it happens within the very least 20 years. Because after that, I'm out of the game. I'm like way too old to do anything about it. Or we will be way too old to do anything about it. So either it happen soon or happen in my next lifetime, but not now. Anyway, guys, other than that, do yourself a favor. Stay abreast to this being an issue here in New York City. Hopefully it's not an issue in other states. And if it is, you should definitely inquire about it at the very least. Other than that, guys, this is the Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching.